Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer Talk of the Crown episode. Hello, I hope you've all had a really fantastic week and I hope we're going to have some amazing British royal family chat. So hello and welcome. It is actually episode 68 of Talk of the Crown. Can you believe it? 68 episodes since I rebranded it. Of course, there are a lot more of these kind of weekly live chats before then, before I actually gave it even a name. So it's been 68 episodes since it's had a name, Talk of the Crown. But I've actually been live streaming for, well, not live streaming, but doing these weekly live chats for about 2 years, well, just over 2 years actually. So it's been a very, very long time. Like I say, it is coming up. I did mention this in my weekly vlog last week on Elliot's British Live, that it is coming up. I think it's something like the first week of September will be the first, will be a whole year since I've been weekly vlogging on my other channel. So it's just gone by so quick. Of course, it is Saturday, the 24th of August 2019, and I'm hoping you can all see me because I've got my lights on again and I've adjusted them to be a bit lower. So I'm hoping that you can see me all really well. I'm looking at the screen. And I can, yeah, I think it's working okay. I think you can actually see me the best as what you've ever done. So that's really good. I can see loads of people in the room, so I'm not going to say hi to everyone individually, but know that I welcome and I value you and I appreciate you coming every single week. If you're a new viewer, hello and welcome. I do these live chats every Saturday at 10 o'clock GMT. Hello to everyone. Kelly says the lighting is perfect. Thank you so much. Jennifer says, I'm here. I haven't been able to get notifications when you go live. YouTube recommends, and it may sound obvious, but do go and check. First of all, that you hit the notification bell. Then that you've set YouTube to notify you of all notifications. And then on whatever device you're on, phone, tablet, computer, that you have enabled YouTube to send your device notifications. So you need to go to your settings, find YouTube and make sure that notifications are allowed. Also, it will not notify you, YouTube will not send out notifications if you actually log out of YouTube every time. So you need to stay logged in YouTube. I hope that helps. H&the King says, hippity hoppity indeed. It's not Easter. Oh, by the way, Halloween. I mean, it's not terribly too far away from Halloween, and I am already planning my Halloween episode. So whichever Saturday falls closest to Halloween, but I'm not even sure. Can someone tell me what day Halloween is on? Obviously, if it's on a Saturday, great, but whichever Saturday is closest to Halloween will be my Halloween live chat special. Last year, I was a kind of a ghoulish Georgian. I was a ghostly Georgian, but I'm already planning my costume. But let me know in the comment section or here live if it's live. Tell me who you would like to see me as or what as for Halloween. I have an idea of what I want to do, so you know I'll probably end up doing what I want to do anyway. But one of you may have an amazing idea that I've not even thought of. So I would like to hear them. So any Halloween suggestions, please do. And also, I would like you to dress up on Halloween to watch me. And because this year we have Royal Reviewer and Friends Facebook group, you can actually share your photographs of what you look like. You can take a picture, a selfie, of you watching me. So I would like to see some people getting ready for Halloween, and we can have a kind of virtual Halloween Royal Reviewer live special. Let me know how you feel about that, and if you want to, we can do it. It says Saturday, November. No, it's October, isn't it? Halloween is Halloween. Halloween's October, isn't it? No, it's the 31st of October. But what day? I should know this. It's the day of Brexit. Mikhail M95 says, you need to be Queen Victoria. I've kind of done that. There was one live chat where I did kind of dress up a little bit as Queen Victoria. So I feel like I've kind of done Queen Victoria. Yes, it's the 31st of October here too. Okay, it's on a Thursday. So my live chat special will probably be the Saturday after actual Halloween. So 2 days later. It will be that Saturday because that's closest. Scott Goff rightly says, I don't need to dress up for Halloween. No, you do not, because you probably wear this kind of attire every single day, which I love. Auntie D says, by September the dollar store will... I do not go in a dollar store. Or the pound shop, as we say here in the UK. Will have Christmas decorations out. So skip and pass Halloween and go straight to US Thanksgiving. Do you know what? I feel like just doing Thanksgiving. Hey, anyone can do Thanksgiving, because if you've got something in your life to be thankful for, I reckon you can do Thanksgiving. And it's a good excuse to have a really nice dinner. Rhonda says, dress up as the Queen at a state dinner, shiny gown, tiara. I would like to. By the way, I've just put some... I'm touching my lips because I just put some lip gloss on. Not lip gloss, it's like a lip balm. And it feels a bit glossy. Do I have any lip shine? Do I look like a Kardashian? I don't know. It's not a lip plumper. Little Annie says, that's what Jamie was saying, November the 2nd. Oh, you reckon that's the cloak? Oh, okay, I get you. I get you now. Yes, it would be. So yes, November the 2nd will be the Halloween special. I get you. Brain not thinking. Diane says, I plan to wear the Duchess of Sussex off-the-shoulder number with a satin hat. Ooh, the first Trooping the Colours outfit. You go for it. And I want to see photos. You could dress up as your favourite royals if you wanted to. Dame Edna. I'm pretty much Dame Edna every week. Veronique says, oh, Halloween and Brexit. Yes! Yes, can you believe it? The Brexit sort of deadline, if you like, do or die deadline, is the 31st. Halloween. How ghoulish. Auntie D says, I go to the dollar store for cleaning supplies. They have Halloween candy too. And vanilla... Oh, Milo... Okay, I know I'm going off topic. Tell me to get back on topic if you want. But I remember... I had to go to the local pound shop for work once, and this is a true story, I have to tell you. And I hadn't been in there for, well, years and years and years and years. And I went. It's not like Sainsbury's, people. It's not like Sainsbury's. And I went in there and I heard this terrifying voice, and it was swearing and it was doing profanities, and it made me jump. And I was with someone from work, and I grabbed onto her unintentionally, and I said, "Hi, help me, hide me." It was scary. My local pound shop was scary. So yes, beware of people lurking in pound shops, sprouting profanities in public. It didn't do my hyacinth bouquet qualities any good. My goodness, it was terrible. H.M. the King said, I'd love to dress up as George the Sixth. Oh, yes, do. Carol says, nothing wrong with the dollar or pound shop. No. Maybe just scary people that shout profanities, maybe. Well, that's what I encountered. H.M. the King says, might end up as one of those stolen valor bids on YouTube. You may. Stephanie D says, the camera and lighting are great tonight. If you want to see my setup, how I've actually got it set up this week, I filmed some footage before I went live, and I'm going to put it in my weekly vlog. So if you want to see exactly what's going on to give me this lighting, tune in for my weekly vlog on Sunday. Jennifer says, sorry, don't do Halloween, such bad experiences with kids. Oh no, what happened? Kathy says, you're a hoot and killing me. Oh no, I don't think I'd... Does the Dollar Tree... I've heard of this Dollar Tree in America. Does it have the sort of people that I described that lurks in the pound shop? Samantha says, don't diss the pound shops. Okay, can I diss my local one? My local one had a scary lady in there. She made me jump. B2B Fields says, I haven't caught you live in such a long time. Welcome. Welcome to everyone. Jill says, yes, we do Friendsgiving on the Saturday prior. Thursday would be for family. Everyone brings a delicious dish. H.M. the King says, the pound shop was less scary before you entered. I think it was. I think it needed some sophistication. Jennifer says, Poundland, no, it wasn't a Poundland. Does not have a royal warrant. No, they do not. Oh, can you imagine? Can you get into the topics? Yes, I can. I know I was going off topic. Right. Okay. No, I will not let one bad experience run me away. Anyway, right, okay, we have quite a bit to talk about today, so I'm going to start with Prince Harry at the rugby. So it was very, very difficult to make a video about Harry at the rugby today because everything was copyrighted. All the footage was BBC because they broadcast it. There was no clips. The photographs were all press association, or the ones that even weren't credited. I looked on a different site and they had all different credits on. The royal family on Twitter didn't put out any photographs that weren't copyrighted. On Instagram, they didn't put any pictures out that weren't copyrighted. So basically, I couldn't make a video, and anyone that has done has broken copyright. So what I decided to do was just talk about it today. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to all hop on over to the official Sussex Royal Instagram if you haven't already. I'm sure you've already probably seen this and read it, but I am going to read little bits about what they actually put. So, Sussex Royal say, and they share a series of photographs. They say, today, the Duke of Sussex attended the 118th Rugby Football League Men's Challenge Cup. That's a mouthful. Final at Wembley Stadium. Now, I like rugby for certain reasons, but I'm not a big sports follower, to be perfectly honest, so it doesn't terribly mean a lot to me, I have to say. Those of you that are into your sports, I'm sure, you know, you love it, but to me, it doesn't to me, it's about really nice thighs in tight shorts, and rugged men. That's what rugby is. So I can find pleasure in it somewhere, but in terms of the rules and knowing what's what, I haven't got a clue. I had terrible experiences with rugby when I was a child. I was always, at school, I was quite small, and I kept getting squashed. They all used to pile on me, and they always used to have me as the hooker, which is the small guy in the middle of the scrum that tries to hook the ball. You see, I know that much. And whenever the scrum used to collapse, it used to collapse on top of me and squish me into the mud. Which obviously, you know, I hate dirt, and well, no, I like garden dirt, but having your face squished into the mud is not good. So whenever the ball used to come my direction, I used to run the other way because I did not want to get squished. But anyway, from the Duke of Sussex, he said, and this is a direct quote, "Well done to everyone who played in today's heat. Amazing performances from both winning teams. Commiserations to St Helens and Ireland. Whether you support League or Union, I have no idea, or both, it's been a great day for rugby overall. Congratulations, Warrington, and congratulations, England. Warrington fans, you were exceptional. Safe journey home to all." There we go, the Duke of Sussex being very considerate of everyone there. And then there's a bit of more information. As patron of the RFL and the RFU, he actively embraces. The Duke has continued to keep a close eye on Rugby League's most historic competition and was excited to attend this tradition that's been celebrated for 118 years. And I think this is why we haven't seen Harry and Meghan at Balmoral already. Although that's not to say they might not go up after this. We may see them there sometime this week. But I definitely think the Sussexes have held off Balmoral because of Harry's commitment to the rugby. The Challenge Cup, a tournament that ranges across wheelchair, female and male competitors. That's really good, I like that. And features amateur, semi-professional and professional clubs. Makes it the only knockout tournament of its kind to include teams from all levels of sport. Well done to everyone who competed and contributed to this year's RFL Challenge Cup. The competition is a great example of inclusivity, sportsmanship and community, and the opportunity for players and clubs of different backgrounds to work and play together in the spirit of sport. There we go. I like that. I like all the words. I like all the sentiments. I don't understand the game, but I like the sentiments. So it gets a yellow fan flap from me and such beautiful, wise words from the Duke. Now I want to see what people are saying about that. There is also a little bit of information on the official royal family Twitter, but that is much more in detail. So I'll leave you to read that by yourselves. And I want to see what everyone is saying. Do people know a lot more about rugby than I do? Let's have a look. People still on about the pound shops or dollar stores? Fiona says, thighs in tight shorts, my favourite as well. Well, it had to be said, didn't it? If I'm watching rugby, it's not for the rules. Let's put it that way. Little Annie says, you make me laugh. Tibbly Meatball says, my older brother played rugby at uni. Adrienne Edwards said, Mama likes her thighs on men. It had to be said, didn't it, people? You know, no one else was going to say it, so you know me. I have to just say it as it is. Oh, I have a donation. Who's it from? Aminata Jar, $23.99. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you. And of course you get a fan flap. And now that it's all lit up, I'm hoping you can see my fans a bit better and a bit more detail. In fact, I remember I had a gift of lots of different little coloured fans, which I haven't used yet, but I'm going to dig them out because I've got so many more colours, all the colours of the rainbow to fan flap. So thank you for supporting the channel. Verna says, LMAO, that's one of the reasons I like American football. Love the football pants. Hey, if you don't understand the rules, just look at the legs. MH44 says, Carol Goddard wasn't aware that, oh, yes, if you do the @ symbol and then the first letter of anyone's name, you can highlight their name. You can select their name on what pops up. H.N. the King says, Elliot used to be a hooker. I did used to be a hooker. I did. That's what they called it when I was young. It was being a hooker in the middle. I know it has terrible connotations, but that's what it was. It's always the smallest person, which was always me, because I was, you know, vertically challenged and all that. So I was in the middle, just being squashed, and I hated it. Oh, my goodness! If I could have been on my period every week, I would have been. Seriously. Lisa says, go back to your pound shop and scare that woman. I have no idea who she is, and I do not want to meet her ever again. Chase her around the shop, put your arms up and make some. Oh, no. No. Greater Bilby says, really nice thighs in tight shorts. Was why I used to watch AFL here in Oz. You see, it's true. Elaine watches because your grandson plays rugby. Elderly Poodle says, I knew you would say that. I was the last one to be picked on a sports team. Oh, I was good at it. I was good at swimming and like individual type sports, but ugh. No, I'm not good with balls. Kathy says, oh, that's terrible, you poor dear. It was. Elizabeth says, when you type someone's name, it becomes highlighted. Yes, but you have to use the little @ symbol on the live chat. Live, Live and Laugh says, I love American football, so rugby too. To me, has a slightly... Yes, they are similar. I know rugby fans are going to be going, no, it's not. It's nothing like. But they are similar. Similar but different, if you know what I mean. I know that doesn't make sense, but there we go. Jennifer says, the kids egged my brand new car in winter. What? You had to get a neighbour to bring me warm water in winter to clean my car. Imagine someone having lupus cleaning a car in snow. Oh my goodness! The fact that they just egged your car is just appalling. Verna says, Taking the King, I laughed at that too. Kathy says, I know nothing about rugby. Ask me about American football. Well, hey, in that case, we all don't particularly know a lot about rugby. But anyway. Oh, hang on. I've lost my place. Oh no, I'm back. I'm back where I was now. Hang on. There we go. Yes, I will talk about Meghan and Diana very, very, very soon. Just trying to get through some comments. But I will get there. Kelly Vernon says, tight butts is why I love my Packers football team. No, not an actual hooker. The hooker in rugby. I'm not an... No, I was... no. I'm going to give that a fan flap. Just the mere suggestion that I would be one of those sorts of hookers. No. Most definitely not. I'm shocked and appalled. I am truly. Yes, thank you all. What a wonderful, friendly and supportive community. Yes, okay, enough about pants. Yes, we're moving on. My goodness. You lot have a voracious appetite today. So basically, the Diana story. Now, as we know, it's kind of coming up to Diana's birthday. And, you know, typically it is believed that Harry and Meghan, not Harry and Meghan, William and Harry have traditionally gone up at least, you know, once or twice a year for her birthday and maybe the anniversary of her passing, or at least twice a year, a couple of times a year. They've made the sort of... See, it's been mentioned in the press as being a pilgrimage. I mean, what an emotive word, pilgrimage. it's not a pilgrimage. It's just going to visit your mother. You know. But anyway, they are believed to have gone several times a year, up until perhaps the last couple of years, and I'm not entirely sure why, or even if it's true if they haven't been for a couple of years. But it's been reported during silly season, we must remember that it is silly season, that Meghan and Harry are going to make this dramatic pilgrimage to Diana's grave to visit, obviously, his mother. Now, you know, like I say, it is silly season, and I think we do have to, you know, think that they are looking for stories, even though there has been quite a lot of stories this silly season. But, you know, is it likely that they may go and visit the grave? Yes, of course it is. You know, William, Harry, Catherine, Meghan, the two families, yes, it is highly likely that they will. We don't know for sure, that is a private matter, and of course the palaces will never ever confirm anything of that nature. The only time you may get anything about it is if they're perhaps driving in, if they're photographed driving into the gates. I do believe it is accessible by boat, although there can be a bridge put there as well on the island. But, you know, seeing as if it's just a few people going there, they may just send a boat across. If Meghan does go, if this does go ahead, will they take Archie? Maybe, probably, likely. But like I say, it's one of those stories where it's something that's likely to happen anyway. So I think they just wrote about it just as pure speculation that it might happen. I mean, I have got a link in front of me. It's from The Sun. I don't particularly want to share it because, like I said, there's nothing really to add to what I've just said. If you do want to go and look at it, it's an article in The Sun. And like I say, it will be the 22nd anniversary of Princess Diana's death on August the 31st. So that's when they're kind of mooted to perhaps go. So yeah, I mean, like I say, there's nothing particularly in there that would lead me to believe that there's any evidence behind it. I mean, again, I think they mentioned sources say, but like I say, who knows? It's likely to happen because that's just kind of what we would expect to happen anyway. You know, that's when you typically go to visit those loved ones that have passed. So that's kind of all about that one, really. Sonia says, if they visit their mother's grave or not, it's private and none of our business. Exactly. They loved her, so naturally they would visit. Exactly. Maria says, you look wonderful. Thank you so much. And wonderful tiara. Thank you. I'm glad you can all see it this time. Mikhail says, you're in rare form. Thank you. I wanted a really nice upbeat chat today, but there's been so much going on that's downbeat. So we are going to get to all the downbeat stuff. There is a lot of drudgery to go through. But hey, I wanted a nice lively chat today. PM Smile says, rugby is what got Mike Tyndall's nose smashed in. You can see he had it repaired. He did. He had it done a couple of years ago. And it was reported, I don't know how true this is, that Princess Anne really didn't like it and wanted him to get it fixed. But yes, I can see what attracted Zara to the 6-foot-something rugby player. Can you? I think I can. Sonia says, New Zealand is rugby crazy. They are. And Wales as well. But personally, only thing I find interesting is the large shoulders in tight tops and the odd shirt or shorts. See? I was only saying what people were thinking. Yes, there is lots of trolls out there. Hayden the King says, I played hurling. Pretty sure I'm the only one here who even knows what that sport is. Is that the one on ice, or you can do it on land, where there's those rock things and you roll them, you slide them? Is that what it is? I think. Is it also known as curling, or is it hurling? Am I thinking of curling? LD Poodle says, I was great at badminton. Oh no. I mean, a shuttlecock is a little bit slower than a ball, but I'm not good with balls. Cranberry B says, I don't understand the rules, but I love rugby. Right. Yes, enough pants. Back to royals. HM the King says, I'd play to watch Her Majesty play a spot of rugby, perhaps as the hooker. No, Her Majesty will not be playing in rugby. Oh, apparently curling and hurling are different. Hurling is the oldest field game in the world. All I know is that my cat Molly hurls up her food and fur balls quite a lot. That's all the hurling that I know in this house. Gail says, isn't hurling throwing those huge tree trunk things? No, isn't that tossing the Khyber? Isn't that Scottish? I think that's tossing the Khyber, isn't it? I think. Magna says, more waffling than usual. I know I do waffle, but we have enough time for waffle, I think. Maybe. Right, okay, let's not waffle any further, let's move on. We've seen photographs this week of the Cambridges up in Balmoral, but what has raised more, I suppose, negative press attached to the monarchy this week is the method in which they have chosen to fly up to Scotland. So we all saw, and I made a live chat on it at the time, about that they have taken a budget airline FLYBE flight. So FLYBE is a low-cost budget airline that most definitely is not a private jet. It is not. And of course, we've had all the stuff going on about Harry and Meghan taking private jets. What was it, four private jet trips in 10 days or something of that nature. Then we had everyone coming out to defend them, and then William and Catherine and the Cambridges throw a complete curveball and fly budget. Now, I said in my live chat the previous time, I kind of went through a few options about why I thought this was, and that there was something a little bit uneasy about the fact that there were photographs of it. And also, the one thing that, that made me really uneasy was the fact that the photographs were taken do excuse me, my voice is croaking up already. That the photographs were taken and they got to the Daily Mail incredibly quickly. Now, I know we live in an age where everyone has mobile phones, everyone can quickly email and text off images, and they can zip around the world in seconds. But I find it a little bit, if you factor in that the flight was about 8:45, let's just say it was about, I don't know, 45 minutes flight, half an hour, 45 minutes flight, add that on, then you've got the disembarking, then you've got the fact that they took a photo, then you've got the fact that those people who took the photo, supposedly, would have had to have got off, gone through baggage, gone through all the rest of it, then they would have had to have thought about it, then contacted the Daily Mail, then done a deal with them, then got paid, then done something to sign over the photographs to the Daily Mail, because the Daily Mail put their copyright logo on it, so the Daily Mail have copyright of those photos. It all seems very, very quick to get all that done in a matter of hours, because this story was out by about 12 p.m. 12 lunchtime, I mean. And like I say, the flight was at 8:45. So all of this in a matter of hours seems a little bit suspect to me. So I know people have been saying, was it a setup? Oh, I mean, it's very difficult to say. There are lots and lots and lots of different possibilities it could be, and it would be irresponsible to just kind of go with one narrative. Everyone will have their opinion, everyone is entitled to their opinion, but to go with just one theory when we don't know the actual facts, I think is not quite right. I mean, in a way, you know, people are have been going on quite rightly at the press for being quite single-minded with one narrative, with one negative narrative against Harry and Meghan, just putting out the negative narrative in anything, making things up, putting out the negative, not looking at the big wider picture. And then I see people online just putting out, doing basically the same as what the press are doing, but in reverse. They're just putting out their opinion, their narrative, and not looking at the big whole picture. On this channel, I do like to explore all the different options so that everyone can make an informed opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I do think that, you know, in the absence of knowing absolute concrete facts on something, we have to explore all the different options. So I have a few facts that we do know about this. So apparently, what came to light after all of this was that there was a little bit of, shall we say, movement going on behind the scenes that we don't know whether the Cambridges had involvement with or not. So the flights. Now, there is a airline called Logan Air, and that is, see, I've got the words down here, it's apparently a wet lease. Now, I hadn't even heard of the word wet lease, but FLYBE has a wet lease to Logan Air, which means that sometimes, I think what it means is that FLYBE kind of contract Logan Air to take on some of their flights. So the Logan Air planes would have their logo on, and the FLYBE planes would have FLYBE on. Now, FLYBE in the UK is a much better known low-cost air brand than Logan Air. So it is believed that that FLYBE, obviously having known that the Cambridges have booked their flights. Now, by the way, I would like to delve into a little bit of detail on royal flight planning. Royals do not just literally hop on a plane unless they have to without planning. Routes are scouted out. These things are planned in advance. Especially details around the Queen. Their week for going to Balmoral will have been penciled in the diary for a very long time. So flights would have been booked. We don't know, because I don't think it's ever been reported before, because no one cared before about how they normally get to Balmoral. We've seen the Queen fly private jet. We've seen Andrew fly private jet. I think it was reported Fergie and Beatrice flew commercial, I think. I'm sure I remember hearing that they flew commercial. But Prince Andrew flew private jet up. The Queen obviously flew private jet. But we haven't seen in the past how the Cambridges have flown up, because basically no one cared before. It wasn't a big thing. So perhaps, or maybe not. We don't really know if they have flown commercial every single year for a long time. But one thing that I am pretty sure of is that that week would have been penciled in the diary for a long time, and that the mode of transportation would also have been planned in. I think it's incredibly bad timing that that they flew commercial amongst all the furore over Harry and Meghan's private jet flights. Now, the royals do fly a mixture of private jet and commercial. And over the years, I suppose what's attracted most negative attention is how the royals have chosen to fly for official engagements, because of course that is official money. So we saw a couple of years ago there was a scandal about Prince Edward flying. The press cottoned on to the fact that maybe he could have had a more better cost-effective route, so that came under scrutiny. Prince Andrew came under scrutiny for being nicknamed Air Miles Andy under his role as trade ambassador to the UK. He was taking a lot of flights in that role. Of course, I do believe that was paid for from the government expenditure, but nevertheless, he came under a lot of fire for his air miles. I think Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie also have come under fire for the amount of holidays which they have taken in the past. However, usually private trips that have been funded privately don't normally make that much headlines. Although now we have thrown into the mix all the whole carbon conversation, the conversation about leaving a carbon footprint. I've kind of gone off track now. But anyway, so basically, what FLYBE is said to have done is to have flown down a plane that had people in it, I do believe, that was a FLYBE plane, because they wanted the Cambridges to be seen with the FLYBE logo. Because hey, if I was the head of a big company, I think I would probably want that too. It makes good business sense. So I think they flew down a plane. It's reported they flew down a plane that had people in it to Norwich, where the airport was, and then they switched the plane. So they sent off the Logan airplane empty. No, hang on. It came down. Yes, the Logan Air went up empty and the FLYBE came down empty. So the FLYBE came down empty, they did the switch, and then the Logan Air went back up empty. So it worked out at 2 flights. There were 2 flights that had nobody on, and somebody did a carbon calculation that said it came out at 4.5 tonnes of extra carbon because of this. Now, it is believed, it's been reported in the articles that the Cambridges were not aware of the switch. Now, again, this is where we go into the whole opinion thing. Some people are going to have opinions that they did know. Some people are going to have opinions that they planned to go private jet and then switched at the last minute just to get one over on William. Some people are going to push that narrative. The fact remains, we do not know. No one knows. But we do know that there was a switcheroo with the planes. The people at FLYBE have made a quote, did actually make a quote about it. So let me just read what they say. I'm just trying to find where they actually said about it. Hang on. I thought I highlighted this. Here we go. A spokesman eventually said, after prompting, that they would provide a one-line statement for what it's worth. But basically, they told the Daily Mail that they could print whatever they wanted, which leads me to believe that they want the attention and they want the free publicity about it all. In a statement, a spokesman for Eastern Airlines, which operates the route on their behalf, said Eastern Airways can confirm any decision as to which aircraft operated the Norwich-Aberdeen service on Thursday morning was entirely that of Eastern Airways and not that of FLYBE, and apologies to FLYBE for any resulting confusion. Decisions taken were to ensure operational control and responsibility remained that directly of Eastern Airways. So Eastern Airways is taking responsibility for FLYBE. So, like I say, the reporters were saying that FLYBE switched the planes. Eastern Airlines is saying no, it was them, it was routine. I mean, it's all just one big, complete and utter mess. The whole thing is just one big mess. And also, it kind of plays into that whole narrative of the feud. And a lot of people, thinking back to the whole feud thing, were kind of having a big, massive go at the press for putting out this sort of fake news, fake narrative about William and Harry falling out and this big royal feud. I myself do not believe in the royal feud one bit, but yet to try, for those people who say that they believe that William did this on purpose, that is playing back into the royal feud narrative. So now some people are basically saying, well, actually, we believe the royal feud by saying that William would do that. And I don't understand why anyone would think that William would then try to lampoon not only his relationship with Harry, but also the monarchy in general, because this whole situation does not look good on the royal family, any of them, to be quite honest. It's all just a big mess. So why would William want to basically lampoon, throw a spear into the monarchy of which he is going to one day preside over as monarch? It just doesn't make any kind of sense. So it's all just one big massive mess. And I want to know exactly what people are thinking about it. So do excuse me while I just kind of read all the way back up. Anisha says, I love you so much. Well, thank you. I need it after that. You always inspire me because you don't have a side. You just love the royals. Cappy G is doing a thinking face. Well, I mean, I hope it has kind of inspired people maybe to think about things, because I don't think it is just as simple as saying it's one narrative and that's it. In the absence of absolute concrete facts, it could be a number of different things. Of course, all scenarios are possible. Every single scenario that anyone can come up with is possible, but in the absence of facts, we do not know. Mrs. Pilling says, don't think William is that petty, even if there is a rift between the brothers. Again, I mean, I agree, I don't think he's that petty. I don't think there's a rift. I really don't. I've never believed in a rift at all. In fact, I think what's most likely is that, thinking back, looking on the whole situation about the rift, I think going back all the way, I think that the press got wind very, very early on that there was going to be a Royal Foundation split. I think they got wind that that wasn't going to fly, that the intention of staying together as the Royal Foundation wasn't going to work. And I think they latched onto that and immediately spun a story, negatively of course, to sell papers about the brothers falling out, and everything just kind of went from there. And I think it snowballed out of control, to the point where, you know, they couldn't even really stop their lies, because then it would kind of prove that they kind of came up with the lies in the first place. I think, excuse me, I think it made a lot of money for a lot of people. I think a lot of people had vested interest in coming out with the same old lies and more negative narratives over and over and over and over again. And it just kind of snowballed and snowballed. And I think that's how that kind of royal feud business all came out. Kaji says, question, is it normal for so many heirs to be on one plane? In years gone by, no. They did used to travel separately. But then, I think from Diana's time onwards, it became more common for royals to fly on the same plane. Typically, back in the past, you wouldn't have two heirs on the same plane. Nowadays, if you get the Queen's permission, it is said that the royals still have to seek the Queen's permission. I don't have any examples of that, of course, but it is rumoured that you have to seek the Queen's permission to do so. But the Queen has allowed that on many occasions. She did in Diana's time. She has done with the Cambridges whenever they've taken, you know, George on holiday. Not on holiday, on tour, I should say. So I would have probably have thought that being an internal flight, it would have been considered low risk. So yes, it's become more normal for heirs to travel together than what it was in the past. I have some donations. Louise, $10 US. Keep doing great work. Honest, responsible journalism. Thank you. I'm glad people understand. Thank you so much. I just think, you know, it's kind of close-minded to not look at every single scenario just because you deeply believe that it is one particular angle, one particular direction. I think everyone should always keep an open view of what that is, and also challenge your own beliefs and thoughts as well, which I do all the time. I always challenge my own thoughts and beliefs, and I'm always open to hearing people's opinions. And hey, sometimes my mind changes through listening to other people's opinions. Nancy D says, $2 US. Thank you so much. Thank you both of you for being a channel supporter. Thank you so much. Mwah. You all. Now I'm just going to go up quite a way and see what people are saying. Hang on. Here we go. Rhonda says, no one cares, only if you are into creating a negative text or trying to pit one family member against the other. Unfortunately, that sells papers. It really does. Mrs. Pilling says, if the Cambridges turned up on a private jet, there would have been an outcry. They couldn't do right for doing wrong. It highlights the difficulties of being royal. It does indeed, and it's all about balance. It's very difficult to get that balance correct, and I feel that at the moment things are becoming a little bit off balance for lots of royals. It's not just one set of royals or one family. I think we're going through a time where things are just going a bit out of hand at the moment. Oh, but by the way, I would like to say, I have no idea if, Eastern Airlines or FLYBE carbon offset those flights. I have no idea if they did or not. We know that Elton John carbon offset Harry and Meghan's flight, but I have no information on whether FLYBE or Eastern Airlines that operates those flights, that say that they made that decision to swap the flights over. I have no idea if they offset that carbon for the empty flights. I do not know. Let's have a look. Rhonda says, Harry and Meghan have flown using commercial airlines as well in the past. Yeah. Usually with royal travel, it's always the best option for the job. And, and of course, sorry, my voice is going tonight. I need some water. And of course, private jets for private transportation cost money to the individuals taking that flight. So, of course, William and Catherine probably would have been thinking about budget and money. I know they've got plenty of it, but they would have been thinking about budget as well. And of course, it is cheaper to fly commercial. Kelly says, if Prince Charles flew somewhere, would there be such a drama? I very much doubt it. Again, it is very much, it's all come from this carbon Harry and Meghan narrative. Now it's pitting brother against brother. Going back to the whole royal feud thing, like I said, it's a mess. PJR says, no, they were not. No, oh no, I didn't mean they were alone on their flight. No, their flight had people. But they were apparently came on the plane discreetly, sat at the front. Now, I do find it hard to believe that no one on the flight would have seen them. I've seen a picture of inside that particular aircraft, and there's no compartment or curtain that could have shrouded them. It's pretty much just an open flight, an open plan flight. So even if they were seated at the front, people would have seen them. So I don't believe the reports about no one noticed them. That I cannot believe for a single second. And like I say, did FLYBE... I have issues with the whole FLYBE and their with the Daily Mail and their photographs. I'm wondering whether FLYBE tipped off the Daily Mail to kind of be on that flight to get those photographs because they wanted the publicity. Because obviously that's going to make them money, knowing that the Cambridges fly FLYBE. Of course, that's going to get them generate more interest and business, and it most certainly has, made people aware of FLYBE. So I definitely think there's something dodgy going on around the photographs. I think maybe the Daily Mail were definitely tipped off to be on that flight. I don't think it would have been in the interests of the Cambridges to do that because, like I said, it's ignited the whole royal feud thing again, which was dying down. The whole royal feud thing was dying down. This has just ignited it. So I don't think it was in William's and Catherine's interest to tip them off about this flight. However, it would have been in FLYBE's interest to tip them off because it gets more business. So I definitely think there's something dodgy about that. I don't believe the content of the Daily Mail article saying that people didn't notice they were there. I don't believe that for a second, because even seated at the front, even going on last, even getting off first, they would have been seen. So I don't believe that for a second. Thank you to Nancy D, says looking dapper as ever. Thank you so much. Hitting the King says, one must not let the press construe our own images of any member of the royal family on the basis of pure fiction. Fiction that was designed to please small-minded people for daily entertainment. I would agree with you, most definitely. We know that the press like to play tricks, and they like to play, and they do play dirty. The British press most certainly do play dirty. And like I say, if you close off your mind to all the options, really, you're just going into their narrative, which is what a lot of people have said they didn't like about the whole royal feud narrative. So it's just kind of turning it around. So I would say keep an open mind about everything. Mrs. Fiji, yes, it's called a repositioning flight. You work in aviation, this is done all the time, sending a different plane somewhere to cover a particular route for whatever reason. I mean, like I say, it would benefit FLYBE to have the Cambridges seen with their logo. Most definitely it would. But even if they hadn't repositioned the planes and it was Logan Air, the press would have still had their story about flying budget, because they would have just said Logan Air is a budget airline. It's still a known airline, it's just not as well known as FLYBE. So FLYBE has the bigger impact, but the royal reporters would have still got their comparison about William flying commercial and Harry and Meghan flying private jet. They would have still had that narrative, even if they hadn't switched the planes. So the switching of the planes is sort of a bit of a red herring, I feel, going on there. Mrs. Pilling says, it's likely that all the royals will be scrutinised much more closely on their travel arrangements going forward. Yes, like I say, in the past it was more about money and efficiency. Now we have carbon thrown into the mix. So yes, I think going forwards they will be looking at it in a very different way. Yes, I will drink. I will drink. Kelly says, I know, but rumours are that they are Exiled makes me mad. Oh, who's been exiled? No one's been exiled. Anisha says, I love you so much. You always inspire me. Oh, I've read that one. Thank you so much. Kelly says, yep, seems young royals can't do anything right. No, it seems that way. It's pretty exhausting, really. Anne says, there are numerous articles online showing the Cambridges have flown private to Scotland. Also, there's an article from, I think, the Scotsman Sports, a New Zealand paper that says Williams... Oh, I think your sentence got cut off. I mean, the Cambridges have flown helicopter as well. I think there was one story where William, when he was working for the air ambulance service, dropped off someone or himself. He flew into Anma, and he got into a little bit of heat for mixing sort of private with business as well. Cynthia says, can the Queen request that all the royal family travel the same way so all the gossip will stop? She could, but the problem is that, like I say, they use a mix of transportation for the different situation, and also depending on whether it's a public travel or whether it's private travel. But now, like I say, they're scrutinising now, even on private travel, about carbon. So it's not just about cost anymore, it's about carbon. Brianna says, totally agree with you. Thank you. Magna says, maybe it was planned that way, long in advance. No bad intentions. I think that's the most likely thing. Royal travel is not just drop of a hat, unless it absolutely has to be. So, you know, they would have known the week that they were going up to Balmoral. The transportation would have been planned. This is all incredibly bad timing, and it just makes everyone look bad. It makes it look like, to certain people, that brother against brother. Then the whole carbon thing, the hypocrisy thing, it's just a complete mess. And I don't think that any of them have done any of that intentionally. I don't think any of them have done anything wrong. Do you know who the monster is in all of this? The monsters are not Harry and Meghan. The monsters are not William and Catherine. The monsters are the press. That is who is to blame for all of this mess, the press. And I think that, you know, a lot of deflection has now happened, either for Harry and Meghan or William and Catherine, and there's a little bit of heat gone off the press, I think. But all of this, the monsters, the bad guys in all of this, have been the press. They're like the puppet masters, and they've been pulling the strings. And guess what? Everyone is dancing to their tune. Regardless of which way they're dancing, everyone is dancing. So like I say, I would urge people to do the sensible thing and look at all the options in every scenario that comes out. Don't just go with, you know, what you can see at face value. Look, and I'm not just talking about these stories here, I'm talking about any subsequent stories that come out, that are likely to come out. Just keep an open mind and really scrutinise everything. And even if you think you've got it sussed, there could be another scenario. Like I say, unless it's complete facts, keep an open mind. Dahlia Ford says, I think the tabloid press went overboard in their attempt to bully Meghan. Well, yes, totally. To give them access. Let's see how they react from now on, because it looks very bad how they are treating them. The whole thing, mess. Just one word, mess. Kathy G says, yes, I read that question about the plane. Parmalee Stevens says, it wouldn't be smart to trash a fellow royal. I don't see them doing that. Exactly. And I don't believe in the whole feud thing anyway. Dania says, at the end of the day, they are family. Why would they hurt each other publicly? Exactly. Cindy says, people need to stop listening to the press. I know you will set the record straight. I try. Although, you know, there was a video I put out today where I don't think people really understood the whole concept of looking at the whole wider picture. But I'll get to that in a moment too. Vanilla says, for Halloween I'm going to dress up as Queen Elizabeth, but with a Japanese twist. Okay, I want to see that one. Terry says, when it doesn't make sense, ask yourself, where is the gain in the chaos? Yeah, that is a good point. Kelly says, and with commercial, isn't that a risky security risk? Again, it depends, I suppose, where you're going, what it's for, what level of protection there is, how long the flight is the journey a high profile one, is it a private one? I mean, for example, if it was, you know, a big state tour, then obviously you would expect there to be, you know, there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of people watching and looking, and people know it's there. So you can forgive them for, you know, flying either private or if they book out an entire plane with all of their entourage. When it's a private trip, when no one really knows where they're going, it's a lot less risky to just kind of hop on a flight and just kind of zip off, especially if it's an internal, really quick flight. So I think the risk would have been assessed. It's the Royal Protection Officer's job to assess the risk. If they think it's okay, then it's okay to go ahead. I mean, like I say, I think when it came to Harry and Meghan with the Elton trip, it was offered. He offered to pay for it. To be perfectly honest, if Elton offered me a private flight to go to his villa, and then offset the carbon on top of that, I'd be like, thank you, Elton. I'm on my way. So no, they take a mixture of travel, and the risk is always assessed. Anne says, made the arrangements on Wednesday, which make it suspicious. Daily Mail watered down the article to suit their audience. Like I say, I have questions, big questions that I don't necessarily have answers for. I have, you know, scenarios, but I have questions about how they got those photographs and wrote the article so quickly and claim copyright. Edith says, William has attracted some hate on him with that move, as you said. Yes. So why would you do it? I don't think he's gained from it. You know, when you look at it as a whole thing, I don't actually think he's benefited from it. So it just doesn't make sense that would be what he would do. Okay, and I've read Mrs. Fiji's one about repositioning aircraft. Let me just kind of go down to the bottom. There we go. So if I've missed any comments, I do apologise. Vinnie Blair says, there is no point in a budget monarchy. The press is stripping away all the mystery and goodwill that used to surround the royal family, killing the goose that lays the golden egg. I agree. And to be perfectly honest, on a personal level, I don't really care how they travel. I really don't. And you know my feelings on this. I would be in favour of a royal aircraft, a royal plane, like they used to have. I am in favour of a Royal Yacht Britannia. I love the royal train. I think it's a disgrace that we don't have these things. However, I mean, I do understand the whole carbon thing. But, you know, hey, if you can carbon offset, then I think that's okay at the moment. But to be perfectly honest, on a personal level, I don't really care how they travel. It doesn't upset me one bit. Almadell says, is the Queen and her office not in a position to shut up the press and their lies, being the head of the country, or they think it's better to ignore them? I touched on this briefly in a pop-up chat, and I think I might need to address it again. But no, the Queen is in a very difficult position. As we know, she's head of state. She's not supposed to be seen as being political or having any political sway or influence. And it's kind of the same with the press. In the UK, just like in lots of other countries in the Western world, we have a free press. Now, that can be good and it can be bad, as we've seen here, because in a free press, the press are free to say whatever they want, even if it's a big old pack of lies, which is what we've seen. But the Queen cannot be seen to be interfering with that free press, especially if it's to do with herself, her own image, or anybody in her family. That would not go down well at all if she was seen to be controlling the way the press speak about her. if she was seen to be controlling that free press in a constitutional monarchy, no. No, no, no. I mean, as much as people would love her, and I understand completely where people are coming from when they say, can't the Queen do something? The Queen is in a very, very, very difficult position. You know, it would be a big uproar if she was seen. Well, just imagine if she did do that. What do you think the royal press would say? Well, not the royal press. What do you think the British press would do? They would turn on the Queen. They would say she's interfering. They would say she's trying to stifle their free speech. It wouldn't go down well in the slightest. It would add to the mess. So no, the Queen is in a very difficult position. To speak out isn't really going to work. She can't control them. Like I say, you know, from time to time we get statements. We've had a statement today from Prince Andrew, which I'll, you know, go into now. So I made a video on the Prince Andrew statement, literally just saying what the statement was, because again, kind of, I suppose it's the theme of this chat. Everybody has an opinion. We have certain facts as we know them. We know what some of the accusations are. We know what some of the things are said in the documents that have come forward. We know what happened 8 years ago. We know for a fact what happened with Epstein. We know what he did to himself in the end. But there hasn't been, just looking at Andrew, there hasn't been a charge. There hasn't been a trial. There hasn't been a conviction. So, you know, I had to put in that video, and this is where I think a lot of people didn't understand where I was coming from, but I had to put a little disclaimer that said, if people say anything that is slanderous, because there hasn't been a charge, there hasn't been a trial, there hasn't been a conviction, that could get the user, the person who made the comment, into trouble if the wrong person, if the wrong pair of eyes saw it. Also, it could get the channel into trouble for being a platform that harboured slander. Now, I don't want to get into trouble. I don't want you to get into trouble. So, I welcome everyone's opinion. Everyone is going to have an opinion. You can say your opinion, you can voice your opinion, but don't put it in a way that someone could see it as slander. You could get into trouble, I could get into trouble. I don't want anyone to get into trouble. So I'm trying to protect myself. I'm trying to protect you. So I had to delete quite a few comments from that because people were outright calling him the P word, which again I'm not going to say on here, but they were outright calling him the P word when there's not been a charge, there's not been a trial, there's not been a conviction. That is slander. Anyone in the legal profession will tell you that is slander. So I think people need to be very careful about what they say and how they say it. You can have your opinion, you can go on there, you can leave a comment that you don't believe a word of it, you can say that you think it's all lies, whatever you want. But just be very careful for your own protection, the words that you use, because I don't want you to get into trouble. And that is the truth of it. And I had one person sort of read that statement that I put and say, right, that's it, I'm unsubscribing. Bye Felicia, I think is what she put. And I'm like, do you not see I'm trying to protect you? I don't want anyone to get into trouble. And I have seen on different people's videos and different people's comments on things, people have made comments as if he has actually been convicted of something, and that's slander, I'm afraid. And like I say, just be careful for yourself and your own protection. PJR says, you are right, but I think that once stuff comes out that Andrew will have a lot to answer for. Exactly. And do you know what? I think I've said this all along, the law should play out. The law, if there is something to bring a charge, to have a trial that eventually could lead to a conviction, of course that should happen. If that happens, you know, the law should always play out, regardless of who you are, regardless of whose son you are, regardless of which country you come from. the law should always play out. And I've always said that right from the start. Janice says, I have to go. Enjoyed your chat. Enjoy yourself. I know we've gotten kind of heavy, haven't we? Jennifer says, you're doing great, but have to protect yourself as well as your great channel. Thank you. I'm glad people understand. I did put, I hope people understand. Fiona says, thank you for the careful thought you have put into this issue and for speaking clearly and protecting your viewers and yourself. And Auntie D says, do you know if those were your typical viewers who made the potentially slanderous comments? Most of the folks in chat seem nice. There was a few people that are regulars that I had to just kind of delete their comment because I didn't want them getting into trouble. So by the way, if I have deleted your comment, it's nothing from me against you. It's just, you know, you may have worded something that I thought, you know, if the wrong pair of eyes looks at it from outside, it could be construed as you actually, you know, saying that he has done those things, which of course, you know, no conviction. So, you know, I'm just trying to look out for you guys. Hayden the King says, for one to call Andrew anything is a way of betraying the legal system that protects us all. And again, you know, in the Western world, most of us live under the value of innocent until proven guilty. And although I think we run the risk of, you know, kind of convicting somebody by Twitter, and that doesn't really work for me, I have to say. Like, but we are all entitled to our own opinions. Good night to PJR. Rooksy says, I am careful with myself. Good. I'm glad. Kelly says, you're doing a great job. Keep doing what you do. Thank you so much. Anisha says, please do again the yellow fan flap. Oh, I will give you a yellow fan flap. I feel like doing a fan flap. So there we go. That one's just for you and anybody else who wants it. Sonia, I agree. I agree with your comment about New Zealand. I'm just kind of going up a little bit just to see a few more comments. Here we go. Michelle says, if I had the money, I would travel on private jet and offset. If anyone has an issue with it, it's tough, it's my money. I mean, I kind of agree. I do. Yeah, I kind of agree. If I could, I would probably too. Cheryl says, the media is blasting Harry, saying he was fun and now he has changed. He has come into his own and now has a family. He's focused on matters close to his heart. He has matured tremendously. Yes, things have changed for Harry. I mean, gone are the days of the partying prince that would, you know, that would do things that are naughty. You know, Harry's come under a lot of pressure and criticism in the past for some of his partying ways. Who can forget the costume he dressed up in? Who can forget the strip billiards that went on? There are a lot of things, you know, that he's done, and he's moved on. He's grown up. He's matured. He's now a family man. He has a wife. He has a child. He's on to that next chapter in his life. So he's not going to be exactly the same. So if the media are saying that Harry has changed, of course he has. I mean, he has changed. Anybody who gets married, has a child, they grow up. You have to. You know, if you weren't an adult before, you are one properly. When you're married and you have children, you do change. So hey, it's, you know, if he's guilty of changing, you know, who cares? I'm just going to kind of go down a little bit now as well. Sorry if I've missed any of your comments. PJR, I know you've gone, but I'll read your comments. Says, do you think once the Queen dies, what would happen? Do you see the end of the monarchy? No, I do not see the end of the monarchy. I think it's very safe and secure with Charles. Although I think his reign will obviously be shorter. And then I think it will be in safe hands with William. And then, of course, we've got George. So no, I definitely think in my lifetime it will be fine. Reborn says, if royals and movie stars didn't have the press, they'd be irrelevant and would go by the wayside. They need the press to survive. I think things are changing. I would agree with you that in the past, yeah, most definitely, 100%, They needed the press solely because they had no other way of getting out what they did. Now, with social media, it's changed. I mean, just look at the impact that Sussex Royal Instagram has had. I mean, what are we on now? How many followers have they got now? Let me just click on it. They are on 9.4 million followers in how long? Less than 3 months. That is impactful. Then we've got all the Facebooks, the Twitters. The royal family have a lot more of their own output. They can reach a lot more people by themselves. That reliance, that 100% reliance on the media is slipping. And you know what? The media, the press, they don't like that. They want things to stay as it always has. And the thing is, they can't control social media. Channels like mine, fan accounts, fan blogs, fan Instagram pages, fan Facebooks, the royal family themselves can now put things out. People are getting their news from other sources. People are getting their news from YouTube. People are getting their news from Instagram. People are getting their news from Twitter. The old way is slipping. They don't like it. So, I would like to see a lot more. I don't think the royal family quite grasp that yet. I think it's still a little bit of an alien concept. But I think with the younger generation, things will change. I would like to see, I've said this before, I'll say it again, I would like to see the royal family hiring, skilled people, younger people actually, or people from maybe the Prince's Trust that have a disadvantaged background, people that are good with photography, videography. I would like to see there to be a pool of photographers and videographers within the royal family themselves to take high quality photographs for Instagram, for Twitter, for Facebook, for YouTube. I would like to see them putting out their own material that they have copyright over, that they are happy for people to use and share and like and repost and all the rest of it. Because that is the modern way of getting things out there. Yes, there will always be a little bit of a need for the normal press to put in papers and to have TV reports. But like I say, it's not 100% anymore. I think the way that people are consuming their news has drastically changed. But also, there's a benefit of the royal family having their own copyright. If they don't like the way that someone is using their material, they can pull it. And I know that kind of goes back to my whole point about, well, would they be seen to be controlling a free press? But if someone is really using their stuff in a terrible way, for example, there are some certain YouTube channels which you know the ones that have put out that Meghan had a fake baby doll, Archie had a certain condition, all those different things, where people are using images of the royal family to portray those kind of absolute revolting, disgusting lies. The royal family could pull it. Now, they wouldn't be able to pull it just for freedom of speech sort of things. I don't think that would be good. But for all the really dreadful, nasty stuff, they would be able to pull it. And I think it's good for them to retain copyright of that. So I'd like to see a lot more about that. Sorry, I know I've rambled. Let's go all the way down to the bottom. Rachel says, I agree. And Desaney Golf says, Sonya, I agree. He would be making a fool of himself and the Duchess if he was still falling out of a nightclub. Those days are gone. Harry's falling out of nightclub days are gone. But it doesn't mean that he's not fun. He's still Harry. He's grown up. Becky says, yes, great idea for them to have their own control of the press. And HM the King says, the fact that you have to pay for a photo of your queen makes no sense. Copyrighting an image of the reigning sovereign should be illegal. I mean, you could argue that about all members of the royal family. You could say that if, as certain people like to point out, they are publicly funded, although it's obviously through the Crown Estates, that actually any photograph taken when they are on a public engagement, seeing as they are publicly funded, probably shouldn't be copyrighted, to be quite honest. Because why should only certain people have a monopoly on the image of something that is, publicly funded? to do a role of something that's publicly funded. Sandy says social media is generally unreliable and untruthful source of news, fake news, but not me. I agree. There is some, well, there is lots obviously that is fake, and that's why I think it's good that they could be able to pull the really revolting stuff. But likewise, there is a lot of untruth and fake news in the mainstream media too. I saw a comment, but it's now gone. Where's it gone? Oh, Catherine says, did the Sussexes have to disable their comments? No. Well, I went on it, and the comments were back up. So if they did, I missed it. Yes, there is some things within the royal collection are copyright of the Queen. Sonia says, I don't buy or read newspapers, seldom buy magazines, and don't watch the news. Way too much doom and gloom. There is so much doom and gloom. Cheryl said, did I see the tweet that Jamelia sent? She was blasted for it. She said they are vexed because he married a biracial woman and they don't like Meghan. Again, everyone is entitled to their opinion, including Jamila. And the press are obviously, at the moment, are out to get Harry and Meghan, so they went for Jamila rather. They went for her, and that is what they did. I mean, I'm not sure if she's responded to them since. Does anyone know if she's responded to them since? PM Smile says, can I put out a reminder or request from someone who calls this royal family my royal family to show them respect? I see Royal Reviewer does. Thank you. Marlene says, isn't that what the Sussexes have done? They have their own photographer for the introduction of Archie Hannah's christening. They have started to, but if you go to their Instagram and you read the little bit of information, they usually they're quite good at putting who the copyright is. And sometimes they still use press association photographs for engagements. Like I say, I have had such a hard time trying to find things to make a Prince Harry rugby video today. I can't find anything that isn't copyrighted. And if you go to the Instagram account for the Duke and Duchess and click on the photograph and scroll down the information, it quite clearly says photographs, all the photos that they used are copyright of the Press Association Images and the Rugby Football League. So you can't use them. Sussex Royal didn't take those photographs. They don't own the copyright to those. Of course, they've let them use them, but they wouldn't let anyone else use them. So it's been impossible to make a video about that, to be quite honest. And that lady says, I really wish they would disable comments on the Instagram. Oh, I mean, but then that would ruin it for a lot of people. Just because there are some trolls, that would, a lot of people like to read through the comments. So if they did, it would probably make a lot of people who use comments properly, it wouldn't be very nice for them, I don't think. I will drink. HN the King says, I would love to see a pool of Buckingham Palace press. Pity the royal family is so far behind on engaging with the younger generation. Like I said, I think it's coming, but but it will come slowly. Diane says the press could stay relevant if less lazy. They could conduct old-fashioned gumshoe research. Royal social media... Well, hang on. I think one of the problems with the press at the moment is they don't have enough royal reporters. Who can forget that time when Harry went, did he go to Denmark? It was somewhere European, and Charles was off somewhere and someone was somewhere else. They didn't have enough royal reporters. They were actually choosing which royal to go to because they didn't even have enough, to be quite honest. So, they like to claim that they have this monopoly on it and they want to protect their monopoly, but yet they haven't even got enough to actually cover all the work that's being done. It's crazy. Scott Goff says, I don't believe anything I see and hear in the media. I do my own research. Good. I'm glad. Elizabeth Vagina says, Tito is on my bed with me. Hello, Tito. Tito's a dog. Hello. Terry Young says, I love your type of cool. Oh, I'm not cool. I'm totally not cool. My goodness. I have never in my life ever, I think, been described as cool. Anisha says, yes, Harry will do everything to protect his family. And Sharona says, where is the best place to write to Prince Michael of Kent? Well, obviously he lives at Kensington Palace. Now, when Harry and Meghan lived at Kensington Palace, and the Cambridges, obviously still there, I sent their Christmas cards one year directly to Kensington Palace, and I got a response from Harry and Meghan and from the Cambridges. Now, I think it came from the Buckingham Palace mail office, but I sent them to Kensington. So I would say you could send it to either Kensington Palace or Buckingham Palace, and it will probably get there, I would say. Mikkel says, you are cool. I've never classed myself as being cool, ever. Yes, Tito is a chocolate Labrador and a Boykin Spaniel. I've never heard of a Boykin Spaniel. Catherine says they need more diversity with the royal reporters. That, again, is something to address, I think. There we go. I've kind of made it all the way down to the bottom. Sorry if I've missed any of your comments, but, you know, when I get into a lengthy conversation, it's quite hard to keep up. Now, there was another thing I wanted to talk about, which, of course, is the Sussex's Royal Foundation. We have a new trustee that's been named for Harry and Meghan's Charity Foundation. So this is the new Charity Foundation. Of course, they've split from the Royal Foundation. They're setting up their own. And I have some information. It is a Karen Blackett who has been appointed a trustee on the 21st of August. Now, the Royal Reporters found this out because they keep checking Companies House. So Companies House is a list of all the companies in the UK, and it has information about, for example, who the trustees are and lots of financial information. So they've obviously been checking to look for appointments. So the trustee is Karen, one of the trustees is Karen Blackett. And it's officially named the Foundation of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. The private secretary is Fiona McWillam, I can't say that name, McIlwham, Fiona. And the head of communications is Sarah Latham. So far we have an all-female team, and there is a little bit of information about Mrs. Blackett. So she is a businesswoman with 25 years of experience in the marketing and communications industry. She's currently the UK country manager for the giant marketing and advertising agency WPP. She's also the chairwoman for media agency media.com. And according to Companies House, she was appointed on the 21st. She will help to set up and direct money towards the charitable projects that Harry and Meghan most care about. And it's understood she will have a particular focus outside of the UK, in the Commonwealth, and also in the Americas. So look out for that. And it will be called the Foundation of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. So that's kind of all we know so far about her, but I just thought I'd mention that they are making appointments and they are coming through. Oh, a Boykin Spaniel is a South Carolina duck dog. Okay. Beware ducks. Vinnie Blair says, talking to A. Davis, the Queen traded the Crown lands her ancestors owned to the government in trust. Yes, so she gets a revenue from the Crown estates because there was a deal done way back. Kat Holland says, I plan on sending some of the royalty Christmas card from the US. How soon in advance? I would send late October. Maybe even early October. Do I look into European royalty? Do you know what? I have so much going on with the British royal family. I haven't got time for European royalty. To be quite honest, there is so much going on here that there is no time. But of course, I like all monarchy. Michelle says, I said it was going to be that name. Well, there you go, it was. Becky Ray says the media and press are just upset that they are not exclusive with the Sussexes, so they make up lies and twist the truth. And Mrs. Pilling says, I'm excited for the autumn Royal Rota, when hopefully all the members can be recognised for their charity work. I can't wait to get back to engagement videos. I really can't, because at the moment I feel like most of the time this channel has turned into like a drama channel. You know, there are lots of drama channels on YouTube that deal with like the YouTube makeup community, or you know, YouTubers drama, and I find myself being a bit like a drama channel but for the royal family, and it can be a little bit tiresome at times. No, there's no more up-to-date news on the Africa tour, I'm afraid, but as soon as I know anything, of course, I will let you know. Kat Harlan says, I love hearing about the engagements and charities. Let's see how we are for time. Oh, we're still okay for time. And was there anything else on my list that I really... Oh, yes! Prince George. Poor Prince George. My goodness. Do I have the article on that? Yes, I do. Poor Prince George. Laura Spencer from Australia apologises. Well, I'm glad she did apologise for criticising Prince George's ballet lessons. Now, my goodness, now we've known for ages in the UK that Prince George likes ballet. Princess Diana loved ballet. It was one of her favourite things. She loved to dance. She loved ballet. So I think it's really lovely that Prince George... Ooh, my set's falling down. That Prince George likes ballet. So he obviously takes after his grandmother. Let's fix the set. So he obviously takes after his grandmother. And he likes ballet. Nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with boys that do ballet. If you look at some of the boys and the men that do ballet, they are strong individuals. I mean, they are strong and all the rest of it. But Laura Spencer, co-anchor of Good Morning America... No, it wasn't Australia, it was America. Of Good Morning America. Basically laughed at George. I don't know what she was trying to kind of insinuate, but it didn't go down very well. She commented, we'll see how long that lasts with regards to George doing ballet. And then she looked deadpan at the camera before chuckling, which I didn't think was very nice. I don't think we should be speaking about children in that way, regardless of who they are. But viewers' responses were swift, with even dance legend Debbie Allen offering a video rebuttal on social media that was posted with the hashtag #BoysDance2. Indeed they do. Now, Laura Spencer, after some consideration, did make a post on Instagram, and she said, my sincere apologies for an insensitive comment I made in Pop News yesterday. From ballet to anything one wants to explore in life, I say go for it. I fully believe we should all be free to pursue our passions. Go climb your mountain and love every minute of it. Well, that's a change of tune, isn't it, my love? My goodness. I just thought I would point that out because I just thought that was very nasty, I have to say. H.M. the King says, let's be glad with the knowledge that those trashy American morning shows are not playing in George's bedroom. No offence to any Americans who enjoy trashy American morning shows. I'm glad that he hasn't seen it, because nobody would want to put off his dancing. Leslie Ann says, Laura Spencer is from the US. Yes, I did correct myself. It was America, not Australia. Sharona says, I asked because I've been wondering if we've heard anything about the Romanov children being buried yet. It being 12 years since they were found. I remember, I do. Has it really been 12 years? I haven't heard anything, but I imagine something would have been done in 12 years. Yes, even rugby players do ballet because it helps with stretching. MH44 says, I saw the interview, don't think she meant it that way, people took the comments too far. I mean, again, it's hard to tell quite how someone did make it, but she did apologise for it. Lots of people commenting on the ballet. Are the Gloucesters still working in Royals? Yes. PM Smile says the press will cover the upcoming royal tours and they will bring all the awesome photos to enjoy. Just a thought and a reminder. Yes, they will. Of course they will, because they want to sell them. But I just hope that, you know, the royals will start to put out a lot more of their own things. No, the working royals do not have a salary. European royals do. Typically, it's round about £1 million per working royal. But no, the expenses are met privately. And again, we are not privy to what those private expenses are. We are only privy to the public expenses. Lady Lawyer says, isn't Harry's lawyer part of the team? Yes, there is a wider team. But in terms of this Royal Foundation, I think that's the appointments we know of. Karen Blackett, the trustee, Private Secretary Fiona McWilliam, and Head of Communications Sarah Latham. But there is a wider team around that as well. I agree, just let kids be kids and have life experiences. Oh, Scott Goff knows. The Romanov children haven't been buried yet, as the Orthodox Church refuses to accept the DNA results. Oh my goodness, arguing with science. Ugh. Yeah, now, is there anything else I've missed? Because I know there's been quite a bit to talk about today. Right, I think I'm going to leave it here. My voice is just about going. So, we've had quite a lot to talk about, and I know it's been a little bit heavy for the last for most of it, but I hope that we've kind of covered a lot of ground and hopefully made people think, maybe kind of question their own thoughts and just kind of looking into the whole picture rather than just doing what the press have done and have just kind of gone down one little narrow route. I hope we can all, you know, look at the whole piece of what we know and, you know, make an informed choice to base our opinions on in the absence of concrete fact. So, if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media and also hit the notification bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I will be premiering my weekly vlog tomorrow at 12 midnight here in the UK, so look out for that on Elliot's British Life. Hop on over there and subscribe. I will, after this video, pop some of the links that I've read in the description box. So, from me in Shropshire, thank you for spending another Saturday evening with me. I appreciate you all very, very much. Thank you for supporting the channel. So, from me in Shropshire, mwah, to you all, and good night.